Remember, you can find my partner, Dr. Matt Wiederholtz, and me at 4126 Southwest Freeway, Suite 1700 in the T-Mobile Tower on the feeder of Highway 59 in Houston, Texas, or on Main Street in League City, Texas. We're happy to discuss any of these treatments featured on this show, as we incorporate all of these based on a patient's need. Subscribe on YouTube to Pain Diaries Dr. Manzi to catch all my shorts and episodes, bringing you all things pain-related and educational. This information on the newest and best technologies out there are available to make your life better. Remember, this is Pain Diaries. Take care of you so you can take care of business.
This has been a NowMedia Television feature presentation. All rights reserved. Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching NowMedia Television.
Hi, welcome to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager, here on the NowMedia Television networks. I'm telling you, what a week it's been. Here it is, business ethics, business ethics, business ethics. Banks fail again, man. We heard it today. Was a Silicon Valley Bank failed this week? I think that's not the bad thing, but the bad thing is how some of the executives reacted. What happened is we found out they went and sold stock ahead of it to go ahead and capture gains and profits for themselves. I'm telling you, as a business owner, one thing you need to know is your clients need to trust you, your team needs to trust you, everybody involved needs to trust you. If you want to go ahead and you want to have the secret to long-term success, you need to be trustworthy. And this is what we hear in business is, how do I become successful? I've been coaching and training for a while, and I've had a lot of people come up and say, hey, I know this company does this wrong, this company does this wrong, this company does this wrong. But what about business ethics versus ethics? Well, I'm telling you, ethics are ethics, whether they're in business, whether they're in your house. You've got to do the right thing by the people that are trusting you. That's what it's about. We're seeing right now our stock market goes up and down. We're talking about recession. We're talking about all these things that are going on that affect us, the small business owner. It's all about us trusting who's there, whether it be politicians, whether it be business owners, whether it be everybody. But here's what we see, is we go out, we give trust, and we need to go ahead and keep it. Those are the things that are important for us, the business owners. We've got to make sure we take trust, and we're going to talk about some trustworthy people today. We're going to find out some great things about your business. We got a new guest in today. We got Andy Erskine. He's going to come in, my old pal who used to be on my podcast. We're going to talk about buying businesses. We've got David Murphy coming in. We have got Leo Simpson. And we got a new guest, Michelle, who's got a new show on real estate here on Biz Talk TV. So we're going to be back right after this. We're going to go out there. We're going to teach you how to be the most ethical and trustworthy business owner that you can possibly be. We're going to be right back right after this here on NowMedia TV.
The tax and bookkeeping team is key to any successful business. At Gunderson's Bookkeeping, our passion is to help small business owners grow, be profitable, and to prosper. We specialize in supporting small to mid-sized business owners who want to hire a full-time or even a part-time bookkeeper, but just do not have the funds. In addition, we free business owners from the tedious tasks of bookkeeping and help them focus on their business operations, their growth, and profitability. Gunderson's Bookkeeping is your business solutions partner offering a broad range of services to meet the needs of our clients. A profitable business needs accurate and reliable books, so take a strong step and call us today for your personal, no-risk consultation.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business guide and host, Michael Rager, and my new friend, Michelle Briggs. We found out before we even got in here, we're literally neighbors. We live about 800 feet from each other.
Exactly, literally.
That's what happens when you start talking to people before you get here. So, Michelle, you're in the real estate industry. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you specialize in.
Great. Well, Michael, as a realtor in the Heights area, I mean, that's where I live, right? We're neighbors. We're in the Heights area. However, I do have clients throughout the Houston metropolitan area. And as a realtor, I've over 2 decades in the real estate industry. So I bring value to my clients, not only inside of what it looks like to look at homes, buy homes, and identify what their needs are. It's also that really the piece of understanding the earnest money contract and really knowing how to explain that. And through the process, and really helping them through the process and assisting them on exactly what it looks like to buy or sell. I love what I do. Being a part of home ownership on a daily basis is what led me into stepping and becoming a realtor.
Well, what's going on in the market right now? I mean, it was really a seller's market for a while.
Yes.
Now what's going on in the Houston market right now?
Well, right now we're stabilizing, right? So the beauty of it is that we are getting to the point now where you really want to be balanced. When we talk about being stable, you don't want it to be a seller's market. You don't want it to be a buyer's market. And we always, or I say always, we tend in our market to lean one way or the other. We just came out of a seller's market. People were buying homes $15,000, $20,000 over ask, right? And they were in 2 days.
Yeah, it was going like no contract, no inspection, no nothing. It was just stupid.
Yeah, no option. Oh, well, I'll just waive the appraisal. No. However, it was happening. It was happening in our market. So I had clients in that time period. I felt very successful that we solidified 2 deals during that time that were only $2,500 over market.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you really identify who you work with as an individual, especially first-time home buyers.
Right.
The realtors today, you want to make sure that you're working with someone that it's not about the commission check.
Right.
It's really about your family's needs and what works within your budget. So it was really hard for me. I had one client that asked me to write an offer, $20,000 over asking, and I said, let's talk about this. You have to convince me to write this for you. Because I'm telling you right now where our interest rates are, everyone's like, oh my gosh, the interest rates are so high.
They're normal.
Yes.
Interest rates are finally normal.
Yes, so we are pre-pandemic.
Yes.
We got a little spoiled. And the reality of it is, in my opinion, is you should be okay, or I invite you to really be okay with the 6% interest rate instead of buying a home that you had to buy $30,000 over ask, right?
Yeah.
So you want to look at that higher interest rate because you can refinance later, right? It's just what it does.
Well, but let me ask you this, a little bit. I mean, what's the chance of it going back down to 2 or 3 again? I mean, because it was at 0 and it should have never been 0.
Yeah.
And it was pushed down to stimulate growth. We got growth. Now we're trying to curb growth. I remember when I moved to Houston in 2001, I bought my first house. I think I had a 6.5%. Yeah. I had a 7-year arm on it. I refinanced back after it, when things moved.
Right.
So, but this is really normal right now. But people that have never bought before, they think this is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, exactly. And this is normal. I mean, myself, it was 6.5%. I did a 5-year arm on my first purchase. And refinanced later and refinanced to 3.25.
Right.
And the home in the Heights, we refinanced, right? So those refinance days are over at this point. Do we see it coming back to 2 to 3%? That's going to be a long time from now if that happens, right? So just take a look at that. Really, your loan officer, your banker, whoever that is for you, and really identify what works for you in your budget, and your family's budget, because home ownership matters. And being able to create the generational wealth for your family is a bonus. I mean, build equity for yourself and not the landlord.
Well, let me ask you. Let's talk about equity for a little bit because property values, especially where we live, have gone through the roof.
Yes.
And it's there. And I hear it all the time. Hey, why don't you got $200,000 or $300,000 in equity? Why don't you go sell it and take it? Because I got nowhere else to go live. I would have to move 40 miles away to get the same amount of house.
Yes, but we had several people. I personally had a client that sold their home. It was a 1.3, and they rented for a year, and then they went out, and after the 1 year of rental, they went and bought something else, a brand new construction. People are doing it, and what we're seeing today, I mean, we have an increase in listings. Our buyers, they have not gone away. The demand has not gone away. So when you look at when you speak to or when you listen to realtors, it's like sell your home today, and it really is the time. We're going into the summer season. We're going into the peak sales season. You're not going to get what you may have gotten a year ago.
Right.
However, it's still a great time to buy. Sell. Buyers are out there. They are there. We had a great increase in January for showings, and it's going into that season.
Right.
So don't be afraid to have that conversation.
Who's more delusional right now, sellers or buyers?
I think sellers. And I say that because we are coming from a market was a seller's market. People were buying homes without an option period, as we were saying, no appraisal, because they were really, that was our market.
Right.
We didn't have enough homes on market for the demand of buyers. That's what made it a seller's market. And when you have less than 6 months of properties, that's what creates the seller's market, right? Now we're seeing an increase in listings. And our buyer demand is still there, so that's where we're stabilizing. We're seeing more listings coming in, and that's creating more options and opportunities for buyers, and which, like I said again, creates that stabilizing. A lot of times in summer, you'll get into a buyer's market, but it's a great time to sell. I know I sound like the typical realtor, however, it really, really is.
Well, let's talk about the business of real estate. All right, so you own your own realty company? You got people work for you, or how does it work? What I do is I am a realtor with Strata. Okay.
Strata is a boutique brokerage. We're fully virtual. I work from my home. That's the beauty of having your own business.
Nice.
I create my own schedule, so it's really important for me and my family. And I love Amy Hartman is my broker, and she's got my back 24/7. I can call her on a Sunday at 11 p.m. and she will answer my call.
Nice.
So that's missing in our industry, and that's a whole nother conversation, really. But it is coming from the title industry, and in Texas, you have to go through a title company to purchase your home. That's the last step before you get your keys. And I did that for over 20 years. And that is, I've been reading, deciphering, explaining earnest money contracts for now almost 25 years. So it was an easy transition for me.
Well, I opened this show and I talked a little bit about trust. We got bank spending and all this. When you're going into real estate, how much is trust?
It is so necessary. It is, for me, again, working with realtors for over 20 years prior to becoming a realtor myself, I identified who I did not want to be.
Right.
And one of the things for myself is I have my own personal commitment inside of every single transaction is to honor each other for who we are.
Yep.
Honoring the listing agent, honoring the buyer's agent, honoring the sellers, honoring the buyers. And really, when you're looking at that, honoring each other for who we are, I think that trust comes in because we're really being. I'm very authentic in my conversations and meeting with talking to listing agents, buyers agents.
Right.
It's so important that you are listening to your clients and giving them the opportunity and the space to be who they are and ask the questions that they have, whatever that is.
Well, you're going to be, the exciting part is you're joining us here in the NowMedia, family of shows, and you're going to be starting a show. Tell us a little bit about it and what's it going to be about.
Well, the show that we're going to do is called Your Personal Real Estate.
Okay.
And what it really is bringing to you that literally all things real estate. It's understanding the selling process, buying process, how to improve your home. We didn't even talk about remodeling and renovations.
Yep.
A lot of sellers right now in this market are remodeling or renovating their homes instead of selling.
Right.
So there's so many experts that we have lined up that's going to go through the process, talk about buying, selling, investing, mortgages, what is going on with the interest rates in our market today. So we, from your luxury penthomes, penthouses to, your single family homes, first time buyers. So I'm excited about it and being able to bring that information and education, because that is so important and part of what's missing in our industry today.
So when's it going to air in?
Well, it's going to be Thursdays at 5 o'clock. So I'm just excited about it. I mean, you're going to be seeing it everywhere in all of my social media.
Awesome.
So watch the show Thursday at 5
We'll make sure we
p.m.
connect on social media. Now that we know that we're neighbors, we can help each other out. We can, see, we could have collaborated last night. I was on the street having a beer.
Right?
See, it could have been just very easy. I needed that's one of the easy things.
Well, I was at rodeo last night. We had a ton of fun. Kenny Chesney.
Everybody, I think every woman in Houston was at rodeo last night to see Kenny Chesney.
Well,
it was well known because at the place I was at there was nothing but dudes. So it's gonna get there. So,
well, he has a place in St. John, and I'm originally from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands.
Okay.
So he's like my neighbor.
Your neighbor.
There you go. In Island.
Well, great. Well, Michelle, I so look forward to having you on this show again and seeing your own show.
Yeah.
So I'm Michael Razor, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV. We're going to be right back after this with more. I got my good friend Andy Erskine coming in, and we're going to talk about buying businesses. We'll see you right after this.
If you have the perfect health insurance plan and you don't want to save any money, you might want to stop listening now. However, if you are like the rest of us who know that the number one cause of bankruptcy is unexpected medical costs due to subpar coverage, you really want to listen closely. Even if you owe 20% of your medical costs for a large claim, like cancer or a bad accident, it will wipe out the wealth you've worked for your entire career. That's why when it comes to choosing health insurance, it's important to get the right coverage for you and your family. I'm April Clark with Clark Health Insurance. My mission and passion is to simplify the process for small business owners, families, and self-employed individuals. Protect your health and start saving money on your insurance today.
Hey, this is Michael Razor, the host of Biz Talk TV with Michael Razor. Make sure you join us every day, 5 p.m. Central Time on all NowMedia channels and social media platforms. Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Razor, and you've probably seen this guy before if you've watched our here on the NowMedia Networks and the Teach Your Business to Fish podcast. My good friend, Andy Erskine. Andy, what's going on, my friend?
Oh, not much. Nice to be here today. Really appreciate the invite.
So, all right, man. So you get Loyalty Business Brokers. Yes. We talked a little bit in the opening. I know you weren't here. We were talking about bank failures and trust. Mm-hmm. You're a business broker. How is trust put into your business, and why is it so important when you're helping somebody either buy or sell a business?
So people have to trust us because we're presenting a business to the market, and we have to assume that our clients, the sellers, are actually providing us with factual information. And when a buyer is looking to look at a business, they typically want to know that that is true information. And so we look at audited financials to make sure that people can trust us.
Well, cool. Now, going into businesses right now, buying, selling, we've been talking a lot about business growth and business growth strategies. We got organic, inorganic. Mm-hmm. You love the inorganic side, right? Tell me a little bit about that and why that's so important to you.
So, organic growth is where we're hiring consultants and marketers to help us grow our business.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Inorganic growth is growing by mergers and acquisitions. Right. And there are two different types. You look at vertical integration, where you're buying somebody from top or below you, or horizontal integration, where you're buying your competitor. And those are oftentimes quicker ways to scale your business.
Well, yeah, it is. For businesses to grow, I'm coaching a business up in Dallas, and he's grown from $2 million to $5 million, and he did that by buying out one of his competitors. Mm-hmm. How should a business owner start looking at that, and how far out in the process should they start saying, hey, look, there's somebody I want to buy, I want to grow this way. What should I start doing, and when should I start doing my homework?
Good point. So 2 to 3 years before you want to acquire your business, you should really be looking, start planning. You want to have your right advisors in place. You want to have a CPA. You want to have a consultant. Because you have to figure out the transition period. And oftentimes negotiations with the deal that's off the market is going to take about 12 months. And so we want to make sure that you have all of your advisors, the attorneys. You need to have a team on your side to make sure that that transaction is successful and that you're turning over every single stone.
Well, how do they start the process? So somebody wants to sell a business or buy a business. How do they get a hold of you, and what gets the ball rolling?
Yeah, so they give us a call or send us an email and telling us their intentions, and we're going to get on a call, provide them with a free consultation on what exactly the process looks like, understand what they want to do to acquire a business, and then we refine the search and help them find the right opportunity.
Okay, so they could come to you, either say, "Hey, I've already identified somebody. Hey, there's somebody in my neck of the woods. We know they're struggling. There's a chance I can go in and get it." But is that what we're looking for? Are we looking for really successful businesses, or are we looking for businesses that are struggling that we can go ahead and fix up and do it? You'll make them better.
The answer is both,
okay,
depending on what your appetite for risk is, right?
Okay.
So if we're looking at distressed assets, obviously they're going to be a lot better value. There are going to be some issues that we have to overcome once that transition period is over. But if you want to scale exponentially quicker, you're going to go after a successful competitor and acquire them.
Which one? You're going to pay a lot more for that successful competitor, right?
Absolutely.
So if I got my business, and one of the things I put together my business plan, and I teach all my business clients to do this, is have an exit strategy. And so that exit strategy is, I want to get out of this business at some place, sometime in the future. I try to tell my clients 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. So if we're looking at 5 years out, we don't have to do it, right?
No.
Because if we build it, one of the things the discussions we talk about all the time is putting lipstick on the pig.
Yes.
Because a lot of times people, they got to really, their heads they think very highly of their business, and it's not that successful. Yeah. How do you help them?
So we help them with reality, right? Somebody's going to call me and tell me, "Hey, Andy, my business is worth $2 million. Can you sell it?" I said, "That's fantastic. I love your attitude, and
right.
It's a positive attitude. Let me see your financials." And the market trends will tell us what the business is worth.
Right.
Now that the interest rates are going up, the businesses are going for a lesser value or a lower multiple, and that's something that we have to keep in mind.
Well, the multiples change based on industry, right? How do we look at what are the most important industries, and which one has the biggest multiples?
So the biggest multiples are obviously going to be tech-related businesses, and businesses that are typically have a net income or EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Talk over my head, Andy.
I know, sorry. So we also call it cash flow. If you have a $2 million cash flow or above, you're going to have a much higher multiple. But Main Street businesses, typically you're looking between 1.7 and 3.
Okay, so you specialize in smaller businesses,
Absolutely.
Right? So
yes.
What's your target? When you go out looking for businesses, what's the perfect target for Andy Erskine?
So I'm looking for somebody that honestly has a business. The business is not distressed, but the owner is distressed. There's a big difference in that. And so what we want to know is that business is either burnt out, that business owner is ready to retire, or there are some other variables such as debt relief that they can't cover with the existing business model, so they need to sell. And those really are the people that we're looking to help.
Yeah, my guy up in Dallas, that's exactly what happened to him. There was somebody that he was burnt out, he was done. He's like, I hit 60, I got a business. I think he overpaid for it, but we do it, and we do it all the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But when you're a strategic acquirer and you're looking at your competitor or vertical integration, you're going to pay a higher multiple than a financial buyer that's never been in the industry before.
Right.
So, acquiring a business in a business model that you already know, you're obviously going to pay more for because you can get your return on investment a lot quicker.
Right. So let's go back in. I'm looking to buy a business. I mean, where do I go? It's I go to the yellow pages and find out. Start looking for people that are looking to sell. How do I go find businesses that are for sale?
That's a good question. So the internet is the best place for you to be, and whether it's social media, there are business websites out there. Bizbuysell.com. There are a lot. That's the biggest one. There's a lot of others out there.
Right.
And then also social media. There are groups on there where business owners only sell their businesses. And you can also reach out to a business broker like us or any other business brokers because they may have opportunities on their website that are not being shared to the wider public.
Well, everybody doesn't always know that you don't want it public that you're looking to sell the business, right?
Right.
Because there's a lot of things that you want to make happen. If you got key employees, you don't want them bolting.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, and some of the things that we hear about businesses and selling and buying is, I'm looking to sell my business and I really want to retire, Andy. I don't want to come and stay for 3 years and fix them up. What do I need to do to make that business sellable so I don't have to stay there forever?
Well, hire an advisor, somebody that knows how to do this, like Mike, because at the end of the day, you get things done quicker when you have a third-party expert come into your business and clean things up.
Well, it's process, right? We got to have documented systems and processes because we know how to success.
Yeah.
If you, the business owner, has everything in your head, your head's not for sale.
No, but I can tell you a majority of our clients, all the standard operating procedure is in their head, and that creates a lower valuation for the business when it goes to sell.
Yeah. Actually, I was at an event one day, and it was for a CPA firm. They had a guy that sold this business, and this guy was talking, and he told the story. He says, I was on the 15th green at this local country club, and the last thing I remember was lining up my putt. 3 days later, I woke up in the hospital, attached to all kinds of machines. He goes, I had a massive heart attack, didn't know anything was coming. And he goes, I sat there and I realized that nothing in my business was documented. If I would have died that day, my family would have been screwed, my partners would have been screwed, my employees would have been screwed, my customers would have been screwed.
Absolutely.
So when we go looking at a business, what is the most important thing that they have to do?
So standard operating procedures, you have to remove yourself from the business as a business owner. If you go to die, we have actually had a very similar experience. It was closing day, and client had passed away that morning. Unfortunately, everything in that business was in the client's head. The wife had no idea how to do the business. So you need to document those procedures. You need to delegate anything and everything within the business that generates revenue. And I understand that a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, don't like to give up control, but the most successful ones give up control.
Yeah, one of my mentors, my early mentors when I got into business coaching, he said a successful business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you.
Absolutely.
The more you get yourself out of the business, the more valuable it is.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's a lot of reasons why you do that. And you talk about exit strategy, right? And planning. So we want to make sure exit strategy is a very broad word. Some people that are watching this might think that means, I'm going to sell my business. No, it could mean that you're actually going to sell it to your son, your family members. It might be that you're going to do an employee stock option plan and sell it to your employees. Or that there's multiple different ways to do it, but an exit plan is a plan for the future.
Well, but the thing is also correct me if I'm wrong, is about 90% of business owners or businesses don't sell because they want to, they sell because they have to.
Yes. That is very true.
And so what we got to do is we got to put that business in the best possible place to be sold at any moment.
Yeah. And another industry statistic that would scare most people is only 20% of businesses that are listed on the market actually sell. And the main reason is because the business is dependent on the owner. The more that you can get yourself out of the business, the more sellable your asset is.
Well, this has been fun, Andy. I really like it. Tell people how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so you can reach us at 713-400-7663 or loyaltybusinessbrokers.com. You can reach any of our offices here in Houston, Florida, New Jersey, or New York. Feel free to give us a call. We look forward to talking.
Well, one of the fun things, if you watched Andy and I in the past, we are dressed very differently than we usually were. We used to be dressed in our fishing shirts and everything, and it's going to be coming out. We're going to try to set it up this week, but we're going to be doing a weekend trip getaway to Venice, Louisiana. We're going to go catch some tuna fish. And just imagine if you're a person that's potentially looking to buy or sell a business next 2 to 3 years, to go spend 2 days, 3 days on a boat with these two, and talk about business and catch the big fish. And if you know Andy and I, there's lots of beers to be drunk too. So it's a good time. So any last thing you want to share with our viewers out there on selling or buying a business?
When you get ready to sell your business, there's a lot of things that you need to consider. You need to make sure that your taxes are paid. You need to make sure that you have a CPA, that you have a bookkeeper, that you have an attorney, that you have truly an estate plan. There needs to be something in the will where the business can transfer if you, for some unfortunate reason, die, that business doesn't have to go to probate, but it can go to your team or it can go to your family members to make sure that transaction can happen.
Yeah, we're doing that right now. Whiteboards and Whiskey, my partner in Australia, we're writing up the documents. If anything happens to me, he can buy it, pay my son.
Absolutely.
And, my son can either join or, come whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
So Andy, thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. We're going to go catch some fish and drink some beers, so you guys got to stay tuned and figure that out. But if you want to know more about that, look me up on Michael at teachyourbusinesstofish.com, and we'll get it. It's going to be all over social media in the next week. So I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV, the NowMedia Television networks. We're going to see you right after this.
Working through the legal system is challenging and risky, especially if you don't have the right attorney at your side. Hi, my name is Sonia Aston, and I'm an attorney with over 30 years of experience. I've helped small and medium-sized businesses and business owners to make sure that their legal rights and interests are protected. As general counsel for you and your organization, I can draft and review solid contracts, minimize the risk of litigation, review and prepare comprehensive business succession plans, or help you navigate your company with the local, state, and federal government. Take a decisive step today. I'm here to make sure your legal rights are protected and you have a peace of mind that you deserve.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager, here on the NowMedia Television networks. I got my good friend David Murphy with us. David, how are you today, my friend?
I am wonderful, Michael. Good morning.
How's life out in Idaho?
Oh, it's beautiful. We have sunshiny skies and snow on the mountains.
All right, well, it was sunshiny and beautiful for the last 2 weeks, and it's getting cold again. It's that, and I don't know if you've got it out there, if you remember, it's tree mating season, so the pollens are flying, my friend. So
I was talking to a buddy back in Houston a couple days ago, and he said his allergies were killing him.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. All right, man, we're going to talk today about businesses and raising capital and how it affects equity. So David, based on business structure, how does the capital raise affect each different types of business structure out there?
Okay. Well, in general, the type of entity you are is going to relegate how you raise capital through your equity solicitations. Obviously, any entity can take on debt, and when you're starting a business on a kitchen table like most of us do, the first line of defense is your own funds and then friends and family loans. But once you get up and running and you're trying to raise some capital, maybe going to the next stage, depending on what type of entity you are is going to determine how you're able to sell that equity and what that means to the people you're in business with. If you're looking at a limited partnership structure, those investors are the quote unquote limited partners. The general partner runs the business. But the limited partners are the equity driver. And you can continue to raise equity through increasing the limited partnership interests, but that would dilute your other primary investors unless they're the ones buying in and bringing in more capital. We talked one of the last two times that we were on the show, we talked about my analogy of a pizza pie versus a pizzeria. And that an LLC, which is one of the most common forms that we use to create businesses, an LLC is the pizza pie. It's a 12-inch round pie. You can cut it into little bitty sliver pieces, but you're never going to get more than a 12-inch pie. So that is the LLC. It's 100% membership, and you never make more than 100% membership. If you're the pizzeria, you're the incorporated entity, the INC, and you raise capital by soliciting stocks. and you can authorize and issue any number of stocks at any number of times. So the INC is the pizzeria that can make as many pizza pies to sell as it wants. Those are really the biggest issues that you're going to see in those structures. The INC and the LLP have a little bit more flexibility as far as bringing on additional investors than the LLC, but you can make anything work as you need it to.
Well, let me ask you about debt. I got a couple clients right now that they're growing and they're getting there. They need to go out and they need capital to buy equipment. You know, they're growing fast. They need a couple $100,000. You know, when you talk to businesses that are growing like that, and they ask, "Hey, David, I need your assistance. What do I do? Do I go take on capital or do I take on debt?" How do you help them figure that out so they make a decision that's good for them, the business owner, in the long run?
Well, I mean, you've got to look at the underlying factors of the business. Your last guest that was on talking about selling a business and getting all those pieces together. The same thing applies to underwriting and raising debt as your capital. The underwriter wants to see what your business, wants to know what your EBITDA is, wants to see where your plans are. So putting all those things in line, getting all your papers shuffled properly, is going to make your underwriting process easier. As it relates to whether you're talking about raising capital through a distribution of equity or through a debt raise, a lot of that's going to depend on what are you doing. For me, talking with clients, what are you doing with the debt? Are we taking on good debt? Is it going to make more money for us? Or are we taking on bad debt that's only going to be a liability and there's no upside to it? Raising money through debt to lever against equipment is generally probably the better option as opposed to drafting up for equity for those same equipments. You've got a collateralized piece. It's easier to get that loan from the bank anyway.
Yeah.
So the issue is going to be, what are you using the money for? And then you get into the questions about the type of loan it is and who's going to be responsible for a personal guarantee on that loan. So the bank's going to want somebody to go after.
Yeah, they definitely do. Now, does my LLC, we talked about a little bit, I know in a future, does my LLC or corporation protect me as a person if something defaults or stuff like that? Or what kind of protection does that give me?
Again, yeah, so in general, if the loan is to your entity without regard to what type it is, there's going to be a liability protection shield there. And that's generally why the banks are going to come in and want the major players to sign a personal guarantee, because if everything hits the fan, they want somebody to go after personally and not just the business assets. Usually, the lenders are going to want to see anybody that has a 20 to 25% equity hold in the company signing off as a personal guarantee. But it just depends on what the bank's guidelines are, whether you're doing conventional lending or government lending, SBA lending.
Okay, cool. So let's go from lending now. How do I figure out that I should actually go take on a partner? So, if I'm going to go take on and give up equity, how do I start that process? And, you as my lawyer, how do you help guide me through that so I do it the right way and I don't give up too much?
Well, when you're looking at raising, if you're looking purely at raising capital, then depending on where your incomes are, it determines what type of risk you are, and therefore, if you're dealing with an angel investor or some sort of other private investor, the less risk they see, the less equity they're going to demand. If you're talking about raising capital and bringing on another active member in the business, then we're going to talk about what is that person bringing to your business? How are they benefiting you? What characteristics and qualities do they have that you don't to benefit that business? And then number two, where are your documents? Do you have everything squared away? Do you have buy-sell agreements? Do you have clawback provisions? What does your operating agreements look like? Whether you're again, without regard to what type of entity you are. Because before you bring somebody else into the business, it's always easier to get your documents in order when there's one person saying yes, as opposed to trying to get another party to agree with you.
Yeah, that's a really tough thing. I know for sure. We got some new things going on in our business, doing that, and it started out as a partnership. It's like, hey, let's join this together, and we're trying to as we talk about it, avoid the business divorce, right? Let's do this while we're still nice and friendly to each other, and not wait till things take a turn for the worse.
It's always better to negotiate during the honeymoon phase.
It is. So again, looking at money and business, what are some of the common mistakes you see business owners make when they're thinking about getting money, or they're actually going to get some?
I think the biggest challenge, again, is you having your ducks in a row, just like your last guest. I don't think usually if there's problems, it's that there wasn't enough due diligence done on the front side before you put your request in front of, whether it's a private investor or a banker, getting all your paperwork in order and presenting a good picture, I think, is the foremost thing to be concerned about. And so again, that comes back to looking at all your documents, making sure that everything is congruent, and that you're presenting a good picture to, again, either a private investor or an underwriter.
So we're looking right now, we're almost 3 years out now from the pandemic. I can't believe that. How much are lenders and private money, how much are they starting to look and say, hey, how well did you recover from this? Or are you still being affected by it? How much are they looking at that?
I think that there's just a general view of what is your cash flow and what kind of debt coverage are you going to provide. An underwriter has always and is always going to look at the last 2 or 3 years of history to see what the track is looking like for your business. I don't know that the pandemic has really made so much of a difference out of it. Although I'm working on a business transaction for a client right now and reviewing financials, it's amazing what the difference was between the pandemic year and the year following it. The increase in sales is almost triple. Yeah. So you've got to take that into consideration and realize that that was an environmental, economic issue and not just a huge jump in the growth of the business.
Yeah, cool. Well, Dave, we got about a minute left. Tell people how they get a hold of you and they want to talk to you and sit down and have you help them, do whatever they need to do for their business.
Sure, thank you. David Murphy, Murphy & Associates. You can find us on the web at murphyslaw.com. There's our webpage. Thank you. You can reach us at the office at 281-475-2022. And you can always catch us on the email firm@murphyslawpllc.com.
All right, David. Well, thanks a lot, man. I always love having you on as a guest. We're going to be talking to you a lot more soon in the next couple of weeks. So you have a great day, and we'll catch you on the flip side, my friend. All right, I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV. We're going to be back right after this on the NowMedia Television networks.
Working through the legal system is challenging and risky, especially if you don't have the right attorney at your side. Hi, my name is Sonia Aston, and I'm an attorney with over 30 years of experience. I've helped small and medium-sized businesses and business owners to make sure that their legal rights and interests are protected. As general counsel for you and your organization, I can draft and review solid contracts, minimize the risk of litigation, review and prepare comprehensive business succession plans, or help you navigate your company with the local, state, and federal government. Take a decisive step today. I'm here to make sure your legal rights are protected and you have a peace of mind that you deserve.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager, here on the NowMedia Television Networks. All right, we got Mr. Leo Simpson II here today. Leo, how are you doing today?
Doing well, my friend. How about yourself?
Oh, man, it's another beautiful day. The pollen's getting me everything. My eyes are puffy. That's why I got my glasses on now. I'm telling you, there's nothing like Houston in the springtime, is there?
You better believe it. I have to make sure I put my eye wash in, because if I don't, I'll be in trouble.
Yeah. All right, man. So we're going to talk about leveraging life in your business at a granular level. Explain that to me. What does it mean to, leveraging life in business at a granular level?
So an easy way to think about it is the granular level is the level of depth. It's the core level. Whereas operating in your business, many times people operate from the surface level. They operate from, okay, the money we're making, the measures we're pursuing, the momentum we've created, and all of the different aspects related to the different mechanics that we use, like all of the things that are on the surface. And I like to talk about it from the perspective of a tree, right? When you go look at a tree, most of the time you see the tree for its trunk, you see the tree for its branches, its leaves, its fruit, if it's a fruit tree, or, like nut trees. My grandmother used to have a pecan tree. So all those pecans on it and all of that. And you rarely think about the roots. And the roots are really the granular level, when the tree and the branches and all of that is really your grand or your more broad level. And so we want to focus on today talking about that granular level, what it is.
So yeah, we start looking at that, the roots. The roots are actually the most important thing, because the roots do so many different things, man. They're uptaking nutrients, they're uptaking water, they're moving things out so the leaves grow, the fruit grows and everything. So when we get into our business, how do we leverage that, and how do we start digging down into the roots of our business to really make that affect our life in the right way?
That's a powerful question, and it corresponds to what we've been talking about the last few weeks, which is the specifics of family life and business life. And family life is really the granular level, and business life is really that broad level, right? And so a lot of times we have a comfort of being most excellent, most prepared, most engaged in our business endeavors, investing in the training, the opportunities, the development, and all those different things, and not really giving the same focus, not necessarily the same funds, because the same funds are not necessarily needed to grow business as it is to really advance family life, but the same focus in the family life in order to position yourself to be able to have this well-oiled reciprocal effect between both of them. And this kind of goes back to where we talked about the relationship between family life and business life last week. When you live life and leverage life at the granular level, what you're doing is you're saying, I'm not going to forsake that which brings me more intrinsic value for that which brings me more tangible value, extrinsic value. And when we focus on making sure we put an investment focused approach into our family life as we do in our business life, then we position ourselves to leverage life at a very powerful level, which is that granular level that produces even more grandeur.
Well, let's talk about leverage and do that. So we want to leverage. How do we do it? I mean, what are some of the steps that we need to start doing to actually make that happen?
Great question. So one of the things I teach is, and I talked about this on another segment briefly, is the 3 C's of life. And those 3 C's are at the top level, you got contribution. Below that, you got compensation. Then you have consumption. And what happens is when you consume, you cannot do so without compensation. And so in order to get compensation, you got to contribute, which means that in these 3 C's, each one of them have an independent function, but they also need the other in order to operate. So there's an interdependent dynamic between the 3 of these. However, in order to really maximize or live at the granular level, leverage the granular level so you can really win at business, you've got to prioritize the right one. And often people prioritize what they consume, what it is they're trying to achieve, what it is that they're trying to receive, or they prioritize their compensation, what it is that they're going to be recognized for, the reputation. When you prioritize the release factor, which is at the level of contribution, you're focusing on that which I receive is designed to be an empowerment for what I release so that I can give more value that will return more value. And what happens is when you focus on giving the greatest value possible through prioritizing contribution, what happens is you position yourself to be in a place where your compensation, though it may not be at the level of your contribution, it will always be extensive, and it will position you to where what you consume will never catch up, not only with your compensation, but with your contribution.
Well, what happens if I prioritize wrong? What if I go in there and pick the wrong thing to look at?
I've been saying great question a lot, but that is a great question. If you prioritize
look,
wrong,
I get one great question a day, dude. You're getting all week's worth right now, Leo.
Oh, man.
I'm just trying to
you got some great ones.
It's Stump Leo time.
You got some great ones. That is a great question because you got to think about it. You can be winning on the surface level. For example, let's go back to the tree, the pecans, right? So you think about my grandmother used to, like I said, have a pecan tree. There would be pecans growing on that tree. When they would fall, she'd go and get the pecans. She'd say, oh, this is a bad batch. See, something is going on with the context of the growth of that tree that's affecting those pecans to not be what they ought to be, right? Maybe the soil is not nourished. And unfortunately, they ended up taking that tree out because of the way the roots were growing and things of that sort. The squirrels were eating up all the pecans. Maybe they were for them primarily anyway. But the point is, when you prioritize wrong, you get results, but you don't necessarily get results that take you where you really need to go in business and allow you to get the productivity that you're really able to achieve. And that goes back to some of the questions you've been asking in the last few weeks of how is it that when I walk in the door that I'm able to focus on the family? That's because if you don't know how to do that, that says that you've been prioritizing wrong, but you're winning in business. You're making money. You're actually taking care of the family. The bills will pay. You got results taking place, but you don't have peace of mind and you don't have peace and clarity of focus because you have prioritized that which is more on the tangible side than the intangible.
Well, you know, it's funny as you start saying that. I saw a friend of mine posted on LinkedIn today. I was scrolling before I got on the show. And he said, don't get mad at the results of today. Get mad at the efforts of yesterday. And so now we're starting to look at the granular level. That granular level is those efforts. And I can't expect to have a good business. I can't expect to have a good marriage and home life if I just started focusing on them today. It's going to take time to get there, right?
Absolutely. Here's the thing. Even though it takes time, I'll give it to you this way. I was talking with one of our team members, and I said to him, I said, you know, most people, when they move into a new work environment or they deal with things from the context of, you know, their professional work, they focus at the productivity level rather than the principle level, right? And the productivity level is about the results you get. How are you getting it? Are we doing enough? Are we getting the results? It goes back to Andy, who said, you know, a lot of times people think their business is valued for more than what it really is. Once you really get into the details, the granular, you find out what you can actually not only get for it, but what the market will bear. That's the same thing. It's the principles that really give true guidance. And when you predictably engage and practice the principles over a period of time, then the productivity becomes a reflection of the principles, not the productivity is based on what is desired to be achieved. So that time is very important on the basis of your commitment and decision for the principles to be priority, just like the contribution is priority.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love it. I love when you kind of take things from where we are and just bring it back into one space here at the end. Now, we got a couple minutes left. How do people get a hold of you? And what kind of things do you have coming up in the near future where people can engage with you?
Absolutely. So they've already been showing some of my pages and stuff, LinkedIn and some of those things. You can catch me. Team 3L is the way you can get to everything. Once you get there, you see what we have going on. You'll see how to get to our YouTube, our LinkedIn, our Instagram, and some of the other content that we have available. Listen, we've got a 90 conversations in 9 days, and one of the ways you're going to be able to access that at the beginning of April is through our YouTube channel, but also on LinkedIn as well. So if you go to that team3l.com, you're going to actually get some information about that once it's ready to go. So I'm excited about being able to help people continue to achieve mastery between family life and business life.
Man, Leo, I love it. I love everything you bring to the show. Every week we have you on here. It's just awesome. You know, the things that you're helping us do is put together a solid foundation of, business and home life, and how to keep the two together, how to separate them when we need to, but make sure it all takes us to the right place that we need to be, and live the life that we want to live. So, man, I really appreciate you, and I'm glad you're a contributor with us, my friend.
Same here, man. Thank you all for this opportunity.
All right. So, I want to wrap up today. We started a little bit talking about what's been going on in the Silicon Valley Bank and, lack of trust and what's going on. And, we've been able to see right now, through the guests we had today, we look at Michelle coming on, and she's talking about, if you're going to buy real estate here in Houston, you've got to trust the people that's involved. We got into Andy, and we started talking about if we're going to buy or sell a business, we need to trust, the buyer, the seller, the people that's helping to bring things together. Then we started talking, we started going to David, we started getting capital, and, the people that are going to give you capital need to trust you. And then here it is. We just wrap up right now. We just wrap up with Leo, and we start talking about your family and getting on the granular level and how your family and business needs to trust you as the business owner to do exactly what you need to do. And that's what it's about, business owners. You got to go out there. You got to be that trustworthy person. You got to be the person that's going to help anybody get to where they want to go. I think Zig Ziglar said it best when he says, to get what you want, you got to help enough people get what they want. And that's what it's all about. It's going out there and being that trustworthy individual to help people get to where they want to go. So I want you to be watching out for us here. If you're following me on social media, Michael Rager, or you're following our Teach Your Business to Fish or Whiteboards and Whiskey, we got a lot of stuff coming up here in the near future. We're blasting a lot of stuff out on social media in the next couple of days. So, we want you guys to go out there, have a great week. If you're in Houston, go take that allergy medicine. And you can always go out there. And we're going to see you the next time here on Biz Talk TV with Michael Rager on the NowMedia Television Network.
This has been a NowMedia Television feature presentation. All rights reserved.
According to the FBI, a robbery occurs every 13 seconds. Homes and businesses without a reliable security system are 300% more likely to be burglarized. Alert 360 provides custom-tailored rock-solid security solutions to residential and commercial customers. Whether it's home security, fire and carbon monoxide detection, flood protection, connected senior care, managed video surveillance solutions, 24/7 alarm monitoring, and life safety, Alert 360 is your ideal solution. In addition, Alert 360 has smart home and business integrations like access control and video shield for a complete peace of mind, protecting what matters the most and reducing energy costs with our top-of-the-line automatic scheduling functions. Alert 360 offers security services discounts to military personnel, veterans, first responders, educators, and hospital personnel. Don't be a victim. Take a strong step today. Call Rosana Torres at 832-863-8574 for your free consultation.
Hola mi gente bella, soy Saralina Cerón y quiero invitarte para que participes en la segunda edición del Congreso Internacional de Bienestar y Belleza el próximo 2 y 3 de abril en el Centro de Convenciones de Pasadena en Houston, Texas. Expertos en la salud y belleza de otros países se reunirán en nuestra ciudad para enseñarte cómo cuidar la vitalidad de tu cuerpo y tu belleza. Si quieres participar en la Expo Wellness Latino, aún puedes reservar un stand para promocionar tu producto o servicios. Ahí podrás encontrar proveedores de la más alta calidad. Con tu aporte ayudarás a que pacientes con escasos recursos económicos que han sido diagnosticados con cáncer, ansiedad, depresión, dolor crónico y de la tercera edad tengan acceso gratuito a terapias musculares y holísticas. La misión de Liz Wellness es la organización a la cual pertenezco para llevar bienestar y alivio a los más necesitados. Para más información, entra a nuestra página web www.congresolatinousa.com o escribe un mensaje de texto vía WhatsApp al 832-856-5074. Recuerda, soy Saralina Cerón, CEO de la Fundación Liz Wellness y directora del Congreso Latino USA.
Le invita a su servidor Javier Solórzano a que todas las noches en Heraldo Televisión esté con nosotros entre las 21 horas y las 22 horas del centro en Referente. Estamos informando.